Hi, I'm Belinda, and welcome to Storytime with Belinda. Here, every story has a heartbeat, and each one is made to connect with you. Whether we're exploring a far off land or talking about something close to home, I hope you find a little piece of yourself in each tale. Let's get started, and thank you for being here. The enduring mystery of the missing Victorian lighthouse keepers. The Flannan Isles, an unforgiving cluster of rocky outcrops off the western coast of Scotland, have long stood as a symbol of the sea's ruthless power. Known to sailors as the Seven Hunters, these islands were notorious for their sheer cliffs and hidden reefs, a treacherous labyrinth beneath the waves. Shipwrecks were common, and many a mariner met their end on the jagged rocks. In the late 19th century, with maritime trade expanding and sea traffic increasing, the Northern Lighthouse Board decided to erect a lighthouse on Eilean Moor, the largest of the Flannan Isles. The project was fraught with difficulties. The remoteness of the location, the unpredictable weather, and the sheer scale of construction challenged the engineers and laborers. Nevertheless, after years of effort, the Flannan Isles Lighthouse was completed in 1899, a beacon of safety amid the perilous waters of the North Atlantic. Manning the lighthouse were three keepers: Thomas Marshall, James Duckett, and Donald MacArthur. Each was selected for his ability to withstand the psychological and physical strains of such an isolated and demanding post. Thomas Marshall, the second assistant, was a meticulous man in his late 30s. With a reputation for being highly organized and dependable, he was known to keep detailed logs of the daily activities and weather conditions. His notes would later become crucial to piecing together the mystery. James Duckett, the principal keeper, was a family man with over 2 decades of experience in lighthouse service. Duckett had a calm, paternal demeanor, often serving as the glue that held the team together. He was respected for his leadership and ability to maintain morale during the long, lonely months on Eilean Moor. Donald MacArthur, the occasional keeper, was filling in for a colleague who had fallen ill. MacArthur, a burly, robust man in his mid-30s, had a reputation for being tough and sometimes hot-tempered. Yet, beneath his gruff exterior was a deeply religious individual who often led prayers and sought solace in his faith. These three men, despite their differences, formed a tight-knit unit. Their duties were clear: maintain the light, record weather conditions, and ensure the safety of passing ships. But the isolation of the Flannan Isles was taxing both mentally and physically. The constant roar of the sea, the howling wind, and the unrelenting solitude could wear down even the most hardened keepers. December 1900 was marked by severe weather in the North Atlantic. Storms were reported across the region, with high winds and heavy rains. The keepers of the Flannan Isles Lighthouse noted these conditions in their logbook. Marshall's entries, in particular, reflected a growing tension. December 12, 1900. Marshall wrote of fierce winds and towering waves that lashed the island. He mentioned that MacArthur, usually unshakable, had been unusually agitated and had taken to pacing the halls, muttering under his breath. December 13th, 1900. The storm intensified. Marshall described an atmosphere of dread that had settled over the lighthouse. He noted that Duckett, the ever-steady head keeper, had grown anxious, expressing concerns over the structural integrity of the lighthouse in the face of such violent weather. December 14th, 1900. The storm continued to batter the island. Marshall recorded strange noises outside the lighthouse, sounds he could not identify. The wind howled like a banshee, and the waves crashed against the cliffs with unprecedented force. MacArthur's behavior became more erratic, with bouts of silence followed by fervent prayers. By December 15th, 1900, the entry stopped. The last note in the log was brief. Storm ended.
Sea calm.
God is over all. On December 26th, 1900, the Lighthouse tender Hesperus set out for the Flannan Isles, tasked with bringing supplies and rotating the keepers. As they approached the island, Captain James Harvey and his crew were puzzled by the absence of the lighthouse's usual welcoming signals. No flag was flying, no smoke rose from the chimney, and the light, which should have been visible for miles, was extinguished. Joseph Moore, the first mate, was sent ashore to investigate. As he climbed the rugged path to the lighthouse, he felt a growing unease. Upon reaching the lighthouse, Moore found the front door slightly ajar. Inside, the silence was oppressive. The interior of the lighthouse seemed frozen in time. The kitchen table was set with plates of cold, uneaten food, as though the keepers had left in the middle of a meal. An overturned chair lay near the table, suggesting someone had left in a hurry. The logs had stopped on December 15th, and the lighthouse lamp was clean and ready for use, but unlit. There was no sign of the keepers, no struggle, no blood, just an eerie void where the men should have been. Moore reported back to the Hesperus, and Captain Harvey quickly sent word to the mainland. The Northern Lighthouse Board launched an investigation, but what they found only deepened the mystery. The official explanation concluded that the men were likely swept away by a rogue wave while trying to secure equipment on the island's western landing. The damage to the railings and the missing equipment suggested that they had been caught by the sea's fury. However, several elements didn't add up. Why had only 2 sets of oilskins been taken, leaving one keeper behind? Why did the logbook describe a storm on December 15th when weather reports from the area indicated calm conditions? What were the strange noises and behavior recorded in the logbook leading up to the disappearance? These unanswered questions gave rise to numerous theories. Rogue wave. The most accepted theory is that the men were swept away by a rogue wave. The Flannan Isles geography makes them vulnerable to sudden, massive waves that could easily engulf the western landing. But this theory doesn't explain the peculiar entries in the logbook or why the keepers, experienced and cautious, would have all ventured out at once. Foul play. Some suggested an argument may have escalated into violence, resulting in 2 keepers killing the third, only to be swept away themselves. However, there was no physical evidence of a struggle, and the keepers were known to get along well. Supernatural forces. The Flannan Isles have long been associated with folklore and superstition. Some locals believed the keepers had been taken by the spirits of the island, or even the legendary Blue Men of the Minch, said to lure sailors to their doom. Psychological breakdown. Prolonged isolation can lead to psychological stress, potentially causing the men to act irrationally. The log entries hint at mounting tension and fear, possibly leading to a collective breakdown. Alien abduction. A more modern and speculative theory involves alien abduction, fueled by the mysterious nature of the disappearance and the strange phenomena described in the logbook. The disappearance of the Flannan Isles keepers has remained one of the most enduring maritime mysteries. It has inspired books, poems, songs, and films, each adding its own layer of intrigue to the tale. Even today, the lighthouse, now automated, stands as a silent sentinel on the windswept isle, a monument to the men who vanished without a trace. Visitors to the island report a sense of unease, as if the keeper's spirits still linger, searching for answers in the sea that claimed them. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you had as much fun as I did. If you love this one, make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new tale. Got a story idea? Drop it in the comments below. I'm always looking for new adventures to share. Until next time, stay curious and keep telling your own stories.